Welcome to Where to Ski. I'm your host, John Morgan. We're headed back to Colorado. Let's strap 'em on. We're going to Breckenridge. For years, I avoided Breckenridge. Too kitsy, too crowded, too corporate. So many excuses. Then I spent some significant time skiing there. And there's some real deal skiing. Founded in 1859 as a supply town for gold prospectors, Breckenridge wasn't on the ski map until 1961 when the first trails were cut, and it's just grown since then. 2 hours from Denver on the far side of the Eisenhower Tunnel, it can be an easy day trip from Denver. That's a plus and a minus. This resort covers 5 peaks. It's big. Skiing starts in November on both man-made and natural snow. With 2,358 acres of skiing and an elevation at the tippity top of 12,800 feet, has some serious vertical that's designed for every skier. That altitude makes for some good light snow. It also means you're close to the jet stream, and Breckenridge can get some real wind when it blows. The town is awesome. One of those historic mining towns that Colorado has dotted throughout all of its mountains. Now it has small shops, few chains, whole range of bars, restaurants lining the main drag, which is Main Street. Our guest today, Rick Asher and his son Levi. Rich is the owner of Pup's Glide Shop in town. Started the ski shop years ago and works on skis for every decent skier in town. He also gets to ski with them. He almost has a doctor-patient relationship with every one of them. So after this quick break, we'll talk to Rick and Levi and find out about the real Breckenridge. Gear up for untracked lines and deep days. Backcountry has your go-to ski and touring setup ready. From avalanche packs to fast skins, their gearhead experts tested all in the wild. Use code WHERETOSKI, all one word, at checkout for 15% off one full-price item. Some exclusions apply. Let's make every run count. That's Backcountry at backcountry.com. Rick, Levi, welcome to Where to Ski. We're going to talk about Breckenridge today. I'm really excited. Really, thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Happy to be here.
Rick, maybe you could tell me a little bit about your own history and how you ended up in Breckenridge.
Okay, I grew up in Minnesota, northern Minneapolis, and I was on the high school ski team. And my ski coach from my ski team, Anoka High School, his name was Jeff May. When I graduated from high school, he was already planning on moving to Denver. Well, once he moved to Denver, we followed him out here, me and another buddy. And then it just so happened that he ended up knowing somebody through rugby that had a shop in Breckenridge. And another shop was looking for a manager. So he got the manager position, and he dragged us up here with him. So that was 1979 when I came up here in September.
Wow, you've been there a while.
Yes, I've seen a lot of interesting things go on here.
Yeah, well, I bet. Levi, you were born up there, right?
Yes, indeed. Born and raised.
So you've been skiing this hill from day one.
You could say that, yeah, absolutely.
He was in ski boots before he could walk. Okay, we'd put him in adult ski boots with his onesies on. He'd just sit there and wobble around. And then he started walking at 9 months, and at 11 months, we had him in boots and skis up on the hill. And that's the same with my daughter, Geneva. They both started skiing at 11 months.
That's pretty early. Wow.
It is pretty early.
Earlier than I started when I was 3.
Yeah, that's kind of the norm, 3, But, my wife and I, her name is Annie, we both have the passion for skiing. And we'd get the kids up there. I think the first time we took them out, they fell asleep in our arms going down Trigby's. Okay.
All right. Breckenridge is really easy to get to. It's like 2 hours from Denver, from the airport, as long as you don't hit any weather on the pass or something. But it's, a couple hours, done deal. You get to Frisco, hang a left, and then you just go up the hill. When you come into town, it's pretty cool. You guys live it every day, but when I get up there, it's like, oh, I've gone back in time a little bit, sort of. Everything looks old, and there's a lot of cool little shops and stuff. And you got the whole ski area up there on the right.
Yep.
What kind of changes have you guys seen in the last few years, like last 4 or 5 years around downtown?
Well, how about let's start with when I moved here. There was no stoplights in town. The roads were dirt. There were boardwalks instead of sidewalks. Okay,
Oh,
and then I came here at the end of an era. There was miners and hippies hanging out at the gold pan, and the hippies were skiers, you know. But over the last few years, the town is almost built out in terms of housing, but they keep building bigger and bigger timeshare complexes in town. So if you could get into Main Street, there are a lot of historical buildings there that house a lot of great shops.
yeah, and bars and all sorts of restaurants, bars, you name
Well,
it.
you know, the Gold Pan is one of the oldest operating liquor licenses west of the Mississippi. Okay, gold was discovered here in 1959. I think the Gold Pan opened in like 1961,
Really?
and it's still there. I mean, it was a tent bar back in the mining days, and obviously they started building here. And so Main Street has still maintained a lot of its character.
That's that's what's kind of cool about it. You know, I spent years avoiding Breckenridge because it was so close to Denver. I thought it was sort of a manufactured ski area. Then I started skiing it.
You know what changed your mind? Why don't you stay away?
Well, I went skiing with some friends there, and
CJ
they took
Bronson?
me. They took me and run me all over that mountain. And there's some really good skiing
There is.
there. And I was like, wow, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
And I've been going back to Breckenridge. You know, I try and get there like once a year at least.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get to. The skiing's good. You know, you can always get good skiing.
Avoid the weekends and Fridays. Fridays and the weekends.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Friday's the new Saturday. Or,
Exactly.
yeah, it's brutal. And there's really only two ways up onto the mountain. You've got the gondola right out of town, and then you've got like over by Lift 9 or Peak 9, that side.
Well, you know, that's true to a point, but not necessarily. They have outlying parking where you can take buses. You know, there's basically almost three base areas. Peak 9 is a good one for learners and intermediate skiers. You can take the gondola up, but Peak 8 gets really crowded with the gondola. But when you take the gondola up, you can get off the gondola at Peak 7 where Independence Chair is. And that distributes people to the north where you can go towards Peak 6 as well. So the
I've
bus
never
system,
gone that way. I've always hit the, you know, when I've got up in the gondola, I've always hit the turn, the dogleg turn, and stayed on. I've never gotten off there and jumped on the lift.
sometimes it's easier to get off the lift at Peak 7 than it is to go to the base of Peak 8 because Peak 8 gets so congested with people. With
Well,
skiers.
there's so many lifts there at Peak 8 that just sort of feed right out of there. You've got all these super chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get congested, and
Yes.
that's actually a good point. That's a great way to go in. And
I would avoid Peak 8 as much as possible. If you can get off at Peak 7 to do the independent chair and go to Peak 6, or take the bus and go to Peak 9, it distributes people better. Peak 8 is just so congested.
it is, and you know, you can't. If it's the middle of the week, it's okay. If you're getting near anything crowded, if there's some, you know, really, if it dumped or something, it makes it harder.
And it always dumps on a Friday. Seems like
If you're lucky, it dumps enough that they have to close the road out of from.
that is some of the best days.
So Breckenridge has got terrain for like everybody.
Yes.
It's pretty even split for beginners and intermediates, and then there's some really good expert skiing there as well. Let's spend a minute talking about beginners and intermediates because you can really ski a lot of this mountain if you're an intermediate. You know, beginners don't stay beginners very long. You take a few runs and just
Right.
go. So where's a good place for intermediates to go? You know, you said jump off at Peak 7 or even Peak 9, or, you know, it's pretty much anywhere down at the base layer.
Yeah, Peak 9, the Mercury chair and the Beaver Run chair, that services a lot of intermediate terrain. And if you get ballsy, you can go over to Peak 10. They got a lot of really good groomers over there. And if you go off the south side, they got really long bump runs, you know. But if you get off at Peak 7, the Independence chair is just an intermediate delight. Now for beginners, you know, Peak 8 has very little beginning terrain. They have Trigby's basically on that side of the mountain. But Peak 9 probably has the most beginner terrain.
And that's got some good places to go on. It's got good long wide runs.
Yes. and fairly gentle terrain.
Yeah, it is. If you wanted to, even experts can take some warm ups there and just rip some runs.
You can.
I've done that first thing in the morning, and it works out pretty well.
And Peak 10 is good for that too, because they groom Centennial. What's the other ones? Cimarron. There's some really great long cruises there.
There's a Peak 10. I love skiing Peak 10. You can just do laps on that one, but that's for more. I always think of that as more advanced.
It is, but
absolutely,
yeah.
Even the groomers there. I mean, it used to be a World Cup downhill course on Cimarron there.
It's GS's.
World Cup GS.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. I never knew that they ran a World Cup up there.
Back in the late 80s or 90s.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great set of runs.
Mark Giardelli, Tomba, those types showed up to race. It was really exciting.
God, I thought they only went to Vale and Aspen back then. Damn.
Yeah, well, that's where they're going now. And Copper.
And Copper. Yeah, they're all in Copper now, skiing some pretty narrow stuff. What I call the white ribbon of death.
Yeah, a lot of people call it that, and let's not call it that. Let's call it the white ribbon of joy, okay? Because it's early season skiing, but we are skiing. You look around the other parts of the country, there's not too many lifts turning right now.
No, it's still early. We're recording this in the middle of November.
Yeah.
And I don't count on any skiing until anything with any decency until even, third week of December.
But I concur with you on that note. But, the faucets could open up at any second. We could start getting dumped on it. We've seen it before, But right now, we've had one of the best early winters for a long time.
So for intermediates, they'll go off, they'll ski. They can ski pretty much anywhere on the mountain, and it's pretty easy because every lift has got the map right on it, right on the bar.
Pretty much.
You can sort of see, well, I'm going up and I can see a blue, I can see a green. And, Breckenridge is sort of known for having the grading system down a little bit. So, things that are marked black at Breckenridge might be like a blue in some other places. But
could be,
Yeah. Well, and then there's some of the double blacks and stuff like that. And we'll get to those in a minute.
Okay.
But you can ski really from part to part in that mountain. What are some good places to stop, for example, when you've taken your 4 runs in the morning? If you're an intermediate, there's a couple of huts up there that are pretty good.
Well, Levi?
Yeah, if you're starting over on Peak 9, we think the Overlook restaurant is a great spot. Used to be called the Peak 9 restaurant. My elementary school gym teacher used to own it before Fair Resorts took over. And then let's see, 10 Mile Station's another great spot up there. That's kind of where ski school and stuff will take their lunch, so it can get a little busier during the daytime. But
it's got good sun.
It does. That is true. But Overlook Restaurant over on Peak 9, and then on Peak 7, they just built a new one called Pioneer Station, Pioneer Crossing, something like that. And that's a beautiful building, great big windows. So no matter where you're sitting, you got a great view of the valley, and that's a spot I like to stop at.
Actually, I haven't been over there. That sounds pretty cool. I'm going to check that one out this year.
Absolutely.
And they're talking about opening up the warming hut serving some food with a trailer or something at the bottom of Peak 6. They had that a couple of years ago, and they took it up. But there is a warming hut where you can warm up and take use the bathroom and maybe get a snack out of a vending machine. But they're talking about reopening that with food adjacent to it.
That's kind of cool. It's sort of like a food truck on the hill.
It is. That's what it was exactly.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. You get your taco and just ski up to the food truck, grab your taco, and keep on going.
Eat it on the chair and get out of there. Keep moving.
And at the base of Peak 8, they have it's called the T-Bar Bar and Grill. And they serve warm drinks and stuff, and it's a bar, but they also serve food, I believe. And that's at the base of Peak 8 by the Colorado's here.
Yeah, and there's at the bottom of almost every lift, there's places to go too, and that's a different story because you can get stuck down there and not make it up for the rest of the day if you start doing that stuff.
Exactly. We've seen it happen.
Yeah. Well, now let's go on to more advanced skiers like experts. There's some pretty cool stuff, and this is what got me hooked on Breckenridge. You know, the first thing I got taken up to was the Horseshoe Bowl, and it sort of intimidates people that aren't experts because you get on, God forbid, a T-bar, and
Yeah, snowboarders especially.
You go up there, and there's some terrain, there's some skiing up there. It's not all groomed, What's your go-to when you go out? Levi, tell me where you would head right up. You've been doing this a while.
Well, if I told you where I would head right now, then everybody would know.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No, like we were saying, though, about how there's intermediate terrain kind of all over, whether you go to peak 9, a little bit on peak 8, peak 7. It's kind of the same way for the expert terrain. Every peak has a little bit to offer. If you can find your way into the valleys down low, there's usually some good stuff, whether it be north side of peak 9, skiing 5 chair, north side of peak 10, or the south side of peak 10. North side if you can handle the bumps, because there's some long bump runs down there, or up there, I suppose.
And peak 6.
Peak 6 has become, it is a great spot for really expert skiing. There's tons of cliffs. They actually hold a bunch of free ride contests up there now. Yes, and that most of that is going to be hike through terrain. A lot of the good stuff at Breck, you're going to have to take off the skis and throw them over your shoulder for 5-10 minutes.
So not a big hike, just 5 or 10 minutes. That's not bad. You're not going like 30 minutes and packing it.
Depends upon how strong you are.
Yeah, no kidding. Usually when I throw my headphones in, by the end of the third song, I'm at the top.
So it takes 15 minutes probably.
Okay.
And you can do that at the top of going to lake shoots too.
Hey, I've never skied Imperial Bowl for some reason. I don't know why. What's that like back there?
It's almost pretty solid intermediate stuff.
Really?
Intermediate to expert. It's got, the bowl has a lot of different terrain on it. It's evenly pitched almost all the way around the bowl, and that's where you can hike to the lake shoots. But I think solid intermediates, lower experts, people really enjoy that, and it's a really quick lift. And the problem with peak 8 is, and it's a curse and a blessing. It's conundrum. When it snows a bunch, the T-bar won't open and the patrol have to do their avalanche mitigation. So, it could be anywhere from 8:45 to 11 o'clock before they open. So you stand around. I've spent many hours standing around waiting for stuff to open. And then Imperial is the same way. They have to do control work on peak 7, whale's tail and all that stuff. So sometimes that doesn't open until 11 at noon. Okay, so sometimes it's better, instead of waiting at the T-bar and Imperial, to go to peak 6, because that generally will open early with good terrain, or go to peak 10 and ski the north or south side, or do the north side of peak 9.
No.
Because otherwise you're standing in line a lot.
Okay. Yeah, and a lot of times what I'll do when I go up there is I always warm up on something that's been cut. And so I pull up the app, look and see what's been groomed, go find something that looks enticing from the app that's been cut, and just go crank out a few runs and then go find something fun.
That's always a good thing to do. Instead of standing around waiting in line, go get a couple runs knocked out somewhere,
So where do you start when you go up? Let's say it's an empty day, no power. It's just a groomer day. Where do you start off your days?
I can tell you where Pup goes for his groomer days.
Okay.
He's got A, B, and C, or D as he calls it. Take the Rocky chair up from the base of Peak 8, Rocky Mountain Super Chair. And then as you work your way north from there, there's Dukes, North Star,
Claim Jumper.
and Claim Jumper. Am I missing any?
Underneath the Indy chair.
And then, the next one over from Claim Jumper underneath the Independence chair. So on a groomer day, he'll do those 3 or 4 runs and then get out of there before the crowds show up.
But you see, I usually get there. I got a really good parking spot up there, okay? So I can ski to the lift and ski to my truck. But on a powder morning, if it's 4, 5, 6 inches, we're generally first chair. So we get first tracks generally down Dukes, North Star, Claim Jumper. And then the T-bar will be open. Or stand in line for a little bit to get the T-bar to open. Or know one of your ski patrol buddies that'll go up early with you.
So Levi, you have a different plan, I bet, in the morning than your dad does. Where do you
Generally,
start?
yes.
Everybody does.
Where do you start off in the morning?
Let's see. Well, it depends what kind of day it is. Like he was saying, if I'm getting up there early and there's a little bit of snow, I like to ski the south side of Peak 8 while I'm waiting for the T-bar to open. So it runs like Tiger, Southern Cross, Mach 1. Those are good spots. It's a little more protected down there, so you stay out of the wind and out of the weather a little bit. And there's a lot of different places you can go in there where you can find secret stashes. So that's where I try to stick to. If it's a morning where I'm going to be in and out of there, especially. Sometimes you can get 4 great powder runs before the T-bar even opens.
And that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. So that's like my perfect day. If I can go 4 or 5 runs and not cross any tracks, I'm doing okay. And then it's time to go.
Not everybody can spend all day up there skiing. We got stuff to do. Like watch The Price is Right.
Yeah, about 2 PM. It gets a little old, but that's okay.
Now we're fortunate. We're fortunate we can get in and get out with a few good runs.
Hey, the other thing, Levi, did you ever use the terrain parks?
I was an avid user of the terrain parks. Like a lot of Vail resorts, the terrain parks were kind of squashed about, 5-10 years ago.
Maybe not 10,
5-ish years ago. So when I was in high school, I'm 29 now. When I was in middle and high school, the Breckenridge parks were world class. Same with Keystone just down the road. It was a destination terrain park, absolutely. And Vail resorts at some point decided that wasn't a priority for them. And the terrain parks had kind of been cut out, not completely. Freeway is the name of the terrain park that was world class. It hosted the Dew Tour, the Honda Ski Tour, if you want to go way back, North American Open. And like I said, a real destination. On any given day, you'd see the cream of the crop, professional skiers and snowboarders training in those parks. And nowadays, that Freeway terrain park, when I ski past it, I just kind of look at the ground and shake my head, thinking about what it used to be. It's definitely not.
It's more tame.
It's more tame, and I don't want to show disrespect to the park crew because they do work hard, but the standard isn't what it used to be.
Okay, no, that's helpful because I go up. I don't do terrain parks. I look at those things. I look at the pipes and stuff, and there's a couple of big pipes up there.
Yeah, and that was another one. The Breckenridge half pipe was world class. I remember looking through a Free Skier magazine one time, and there was Candide Tovex was doing a trick in the magazine that said he traveled all the way from France just to ski this half pipe. And, I was 10 years old. I was like, that's amazing. No one's doing that here for Breck now, not for the terrain parks.
Okay.
Just down the road, Copper Mountain, they're still doing a great job. And they host the events now. So locally, you can still go get some good terrain park riding.
Interesting. Well, there's a group of people that like that. I'm not in there, but I try and keep my feet on the ground.
I like skiing through the terrain park between the jumps on a powder day because nobody skis that part. Okay, so sometimes you still get some freshies in between the jumps.
Yeah, on the nice steep landings, if no one's skiing the part, you can get some face shots in there, no doubt.
Don't tell anybody.
We'll only tell a few thousand people on this one.
Yeah, it'll be bumped out before you know it.
Breckenridge gets some weather. Obviously, you get snow, You get wind. It's really high up there. It's at 13,000 feet. It's the highest chair, right?
Yeah, but then you can hike above that. But on those windy, stormy days, the upper hike to terrain is generally not open. And because of the weather, sometimes the lifts are shut down due to weather because of wind.
Well, you got to sort of plan your day around the weather a little bit. If you get a dead calm, beautiful day,
get out there.
You get out there. But how do you ski the mountain? Do you try and stay in the sun, or do you try and stay out of the sun?
I try to keep up with my son.
Well, we all do that.
No, the sun. The north facing stuff is generally better, but on spring days, follow the sun. Okay, I mean it's nice to get sunny stuff, but the stuff north facing in the shade is generally the better skiing. The snow holds up better, but in the wintertime, it doesn't really matter. In the springtime, the sun will soften stuff up for sure.
For example, where I told you I like to go when there's a few inches of snow down on the south side of Peak 8.
Yeah.
If there's no snow there, you're going to be running into crusty conditions. If the sun's been on it for a few days, it's not going to ski well.
Frozen coral.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why I ski in some good corn. But that's later in the spring. In the deep part of the
Sometimes travel adventures don't play out the way you think. Shit happens on the road. We partnered with Global Rescue for world-class travel protection and travel insurance. Trusted by adventurers worldwide, Global Rescue membership ensures emergency medical evacuations, field rescues, and medical advisory services no matter where your adventure takes you. Paired with IMG travel insurance offered through Global Rescue, you get comprehensive coverage for trip cancellation, medical bills, lost luggage, missed connections, and more, protecting both you and your trip. While Global Rescue keeps you safe in the field, IMG Insurance covers the unexpected costs. Together, they're the ultimate protection for adventure seekers. Whether you're headed to the Vallée Blanche or taking skiing and wildlife in Norway or Alaska, enjoy your experience with peace of mind knowing that Global Rescue has your back. Nobody wants to imagine an emergency on a trip, but when the unexpected does happen, you want the team of medical and security experts at Global Rescue to be there for you. Memberships start as low as $139. Hit the link on our website at wheretoski.org or use code WHERETOSKI, all one word, to find out more.
Getting back to the wind and the cold, there's a number of terms for Breckenridge. Some call it Breckenridge.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Or Breckenwind. But when it's really cold, a lot of the good skiing is above tree line. The T-bar or anything else. If it's open when it's those kind of blizzardy conditions, but sometimes it's the best. You just got to wear good clothes, and the wind can really be nuking. But what the wind does as well, it creates wind buff in a bunch of different areas on Peak 7 and Peak 8, where it's nice and smooth on the steeper terrain, and it's chalky, coverable. It's nature's grooming, basically, and it's really special.
I hadn't thought of it like that, but you're right. And as long as there's not a ton of wind, the cold is fine. And it does get cold up there, but once you take a couple runs, you start warming up most of the time.
Yeah, and if you're up high on T-bar or Imperial and you start getting cold, you're awful close to the Vista House or to that Pioneer Station that I was talking about. At the bottom of no matter where you are, you can take a 30-second run and you're at a nice warming hut.
So what should people stay away from, except the base during the middle of the day?
T-bar Imperial.
Yeah, stay away from wherever I'm skiing.
No, the congestion at the bottom of Peak 8 is really the Thorn and the Breckenridge side, because there's only so much parking in this town, and they got a parking structure. There's a fair amount of parking at the gondola, which we're going to be losing some of that too. However, you start at the bottom on the gondola, and then you end up at the bottom, and then you got to go continue your way. But the base of Peak 8 gets really congested.
Yeah, I've been there.
I mean, I would avoid that as much as possible. I would if you get off on the gondola at Peak 7 or get a bus to Peak 9, that's really the way to go.
Okay.
How's that?
Now,
Yeah.
when you get some of those crowded days, those Fridays where it just dumps snow and people get through, do you even bother to go out?
I like to go first thing in the morning to try to avoid the early rush. And then when it gets crowded, you always look for a single. Try to ride solo.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. It all depends on the day.
You got to follow the openings and where the crowds are. So, if Peak 8 is congested, nothing's open, then we'll go do a couple runs on the Indy chair and work our way over to Peak 6 and try to get the first runs off of that before people show up.
I haven't spent a lot of time on Peak 6. You guys really like it over there, don't you?
It's not bad.
It's so as far as what's the word I'm looking for?
Diversity?
No, it's well condensed. There's a lot of good terrain over there. Sometimes on Peak 8, you got to traverse across over to wherever it might be. From 6 chair, there's only one chair you can take up, and you get all of it from there. And
Peak 6. Not chair 6.
From peak 6. You take the one chair up, and either you can hike to the summit and go ski the more extreme terrain. You can hop right off and just ski some, albeit shorter, but you can go ski some steeps right off of that.
I mean, there's good skiing on the north side and the south side of the chair on peak 6.
And that's where they seem to do most of the Abbey mitigation too. Whatever I'm hearing blasting, it sounds like it's coming from over there.
Well, I have a tenant that lives down below me. He's an Abbey tech, and there's avalanche control work off of the lake chutes, off of the summit of peak 7 and off of peak 6. And you got to give kudos to those guys because they're up there in blinding snowstorms, sub-zero temperatures, throwing bombs to mitigate to make it safe for us to ski. Those guys work their asses off in freezing cold weather.
Yeah, and not just up high, sometimes on the T-bar too. That's why it's notorious for opening at 10 o'clock and not right when the resort opens, right? They got a lot of work to do.
People don't appreciate the hours that they put in, the days that they put in, and really crappy weather to be able to get everyone else out on the hill.
And they ain't getting paid worth a shit, They're trying to change that,
Speaking of, I heard there's a protest tomorrow at the gondola.
Yeah,
the patrollers are going to picket. They're making signs.
Yeah, so don't be a scab.
Do not.
Support your local ski patrol, okay? Everybody out there. Because give them a hug, man. Give them a warm cup of coffee because they deserve it.
They do. And, some of that stuff's not easy.
No, they keep our mountain open. They keep people safe. Bring people down when they have trauma, They're a very special group.
Yeah, they are. And, as you said, they don't get paid enough.
No, not for the dangers they put themselves in, and for the knowledge they have for taking care of injured people.
Yeah, and everyone thinks, not everyone, but some people think, they're just the ones, they're going out and checking out the runs before we get to them.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah, they do.
They do, but
they do.
But that's part of the deal.
Maybe that's one of their perks. Okay,
got to make sure it's safe.
It drives us crazy. Okay.
Hey, what have they been doing in terms of investment for the last few years over there? New lifts, new infrastructure.
Yeah,
they're putting a lot of work in. They just announced a new gondola that's going to go in on Peak 9 here in the next few years, as well as a replacement for Sea Chair. Now, right now, Sea Chair is kind of
it's an old double.
It's an old, slow double chair, which makes it hard to use on a regular basis. Now, when they put a high-speed quad in there, it's going to open up a lot of terrain just downhill from E-Chair. Runs like Mine Shaft, Devil's Crotch, if you want a big, long groomer, very big, long bump run.
Yeah, it's already bumped out now.
Anyway, there's a lot of stuff there on the north side of Peak 9 that isn't easily skied. It takes a long time to ride the groomer out and then take that slow double chair up. So that's going to open up quite a bit of terrain as far as making it usable, if that makes sense. Recently, they added a new chair on Peak 7 called the Freedom Chair. And that has cleared up quite a bit of the congestion that you see at the base of Peak 7. It's done a great job of just spreading the people out, making sure there's enough chairs for all the bodies. I think it's worked pretty well.
It's great.
Yeah.
They've really done a good job of spreading out the lifts and relieving the congestion and a number of other lifts. So the more lifts, the merrier, I say. The more people you can get on lifts, the less people will be skiing. They'll be riding.
For years they just add another peak. It was amazing. There were about, I think when I first looked at Breckenridge, there were like 3 peaks open. Then they'd open another one. Then they'd open another one. I thought they were going to get all the way to Copper Mountain with some of them.
Well, we hoping they were going to build a funicular or something, or a tram over there, so you can ski from ski area to ski area. So when I came here in 79, only Peak 8 and Peak 9 were open. And the lifts were very antiquated. I mean, they were current for the time, but they just kept on. Then they opened up Peak 10, and then they opened up Peak 7, and then they opened up Peak 6. And I don't know for sure, but I think Peak 5 might be in their boundaries. But that's all closed off right now. So peak to peak.
It'd be cool to have it so you could connect to Copper in there. That'd be wild.
It'd be really good.
When you do the hike from Imperial Chair to the top of Peak 8 or to the top of Peak 6, you look right down on Copper Mountain. It's right there.
Yeah.
the next mountain over.
And and they call them the sky chutes that are back there. That they look at when you look at Carp Mountain, looking towards back, they're called the sky chutes. They spell out of the sky, and I've skied most of those. And you'd hike up, ski the ridgeline on the 10 mile, and then dump towards Copper Mountain. That's always pretty exciting. It's all backcountry stuff.
How far a walk out is it if you go toward Copper?
Well, what you got to do is, it's maybe a half an hour walk to get to the closest bar or the bus stop. That's what we used to do. We used to go to Tussauds all the time, and we'd look up at our tracks, So, to walk out, you just got to walk across the highway, I don't know, but that's all closed stuff. But you can't ski it. So we've questioned that many times. Why never lift to Copper?
Back to the ski patrol. They don't want you out there.
No, but I've had ski patrol that worked at Copper Mountain, and I was able to call them when we were descending down the sky chutes. They would be out there with binoculars watching us to see if anything happened.
Really?
That doesn't happen with everybody and everywhere,
No, that's like a one-off. That's a one-off.
I was very fortunate to have friends in the ski circle.
So what's we talked about some of the weather up there on the hill. January can be brutally cold, breezy, but what's your favorite month to ski Breckenridge?
Levi, what do you got?
I like it in the springtime. Come late February, early March, it starts warming up, but we're still getting some good snow. If you want to get the powder in the morning, you can, and then by the time that's all skied out, it's just beautiful sunshine days, right? It's warm. You can ski in a hoodie if you want to.
Nice.
Yeah. Not too bad, huh?
Not too bad. November's sort of like that too.
Yeah.
But there's just not as much snow.
No, we skied in Speedos yesterday. No.
I'm
not sure I like that visual. Ooh, not for me.
Passing in my eyes. I like mid to late February. There's generally less people, and the snow is generally getting really good. And the weather, it's windy and snowing, and that keeps a lot of people off the hill. When the weather's adverse, it keeps people away. Okay, and that's the best time to be skiing in my mind. But April's March, April, man, when it's sunny out, skiing corn snow, it's really good. It's really fun.
Yeah, I've skied out there a few times in March, and it's just delightful. I mean, it's great. So what's the best part about skiing Breckenridge? What do you love the most about it?
It's our backyard. You can see the skier from my deck. Okay.
You want to look?
Okay. Well, yeah. What about you, Levi? What's the best part of it? You live there. You grew up there.
Yes, I do.
He grew here. You flew here.
Yeah, that's right. I do like the convenience of being able to go ski right from town. If you have a parking spot in town, as most people do that, work in town, you can go take a lunch break. With the gondola right there, you can go take an hour and get some good skiing in and then get back to work. That I like a lot. There is a pretty good variety in the terrain, and once you learn it and once you learn where you like to ski on Breckenridge specifically, it becomes a really fun mountain.
And plus, a lot of the people. You can just go up on the mountain and see somebody more than one or two people.
So some of it's social. I get that. You sort of bump into a crowd and take a few runs with them and catch up. And it's cool.
It's wonderful.
So Levi, you'll love this. I did a piece on Revelstoke not long ago. They have a deal in town there where if it snows over, I think it's 20 centimeters, it's built into the contracts of the people that work in town. They get the morning off.
They close down.
Not bad.
So if it snows enough, town's shut down. Everyone's on the mountain.
And every now and again, my ski shop, Pup's Glide Shop, if it snows a bunch, I'll put a sign up in the window that says "Gone skiing," and we'll take the crew out. Sometimes you just got to do that kind of stuff.
You got to. Well, you live in a ski town. That's part of the deal.
And it's mental wellness for everybody too, because believe me, the guests that come and see us, they can sometimes get wearing on you.
So then, okay, what's the worst part about Breckenridge?
Congestion, traffic during the busy times.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've pretty much figured it can get brutal.
Or try to get in a restaurant. you know, you got to make reservations days in advance.
I figure the locals don't go to the restaurants from December until March.
Maybe some of the local bars like Fatty's Pizzeria or the Gold Pan, but for the most part, it's hard to get. It's tough to get into the restaurants. Some people just want to stay home and avoid people.
And a lot of the restaurants in here are pretty, for the tourists, they're pretty spendy restaurants, but they do a really good job of treating the locals well. They do great happy hours and local specials. They do a good job of making it affordable to go out and eat at these nice places,
and the one thing is accessible. The one thing is don't ask for a locals discount. Okay, if they know who you are, they're going to take care of you. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. They know if you're a local. It's pretty easy to tell, and they can tell if you're there for just one season or if you've been there for like a career.
That's for sure. Oh, I was over in Keystone. I got something for the grocery store. This guy looks at me and goes, "Are you one of us?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm one of you." He goes, "Okay, locals discount, no problem."
What else is there to do on days you don't ski? What else is there to do in Breckenridge? I know there's a cross country center down the road a bit.
Levi and I were talking about that. There's a lot of activities.
We actually have two cross country centers. There's one out by the golf course, on the golf course, and then there's one right near the base of Peak 8. That's the Town Run Nordic Center.
No,
the golf course is the Town Run.
Right.
My bad.
The Breckenridge Nordic Center is run by the Daytons, and they've had it for over 50 years.
Yeah, but they've got a great big lodge and obviously tons of rentals, and they take good care of those trails.
It's a gorgeous lodge, man. People just go up there to hang out and have cappuccinos.
Really, I've never been up there. That sounds pretty cool.
That pulling in.
Something that's really popular is the dog sledding out off Tiger Road. There's a company that runs dog sledding out back in the woods.
Good times.
No way.
Good times, yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It's a lot of fun, yeah.
And snowmobile tours.
Yeah,
and of course shopping.
Oh, plenty of shopping. And everyone's got to get their skis tuned, right?
And you can't tune your skis on the internet. Okay?
Yeah, bring them to us. We'll take care of them.
And so my wife has had
download some P-Tech.
Our family's had a store in Breckenridge called The Joy of Socks and Accessories. And she's in her 39th year of business. And it's right on Main Street. And it's a wonderful shop. Everybody loves this shop. So listeners, go visit my wife. Help me make my mortgage payment, will you please?
What's the name of the place?
Joy of Socks and Accessories.
Okay.
The Joy of Socks, yeah.
The Joy of Socks.
And something else that we didn't talk about earlier, but there's actually quite a big hockey and skating scene here. There's 5 hockey leagues with 5 to 10 teams apiece, as well as like a junior team called the Vipers that plays other mountain towns. They'll go to Jackson or Bozeman or
it's like a minor league team.
Yeah, minor league hockey. So that's always fun. They do games Friday or Saturday nights.
And it's a hoot.
It's a full arena, that's for sure.
Oh, full arena. No one's had any beers.
Oh, it gets rowdy, man. Let me tell you.
Hey, it's hockey. It's hockey.
Small town hockey.
That sounds awesome. There's got to, I know there's some pretty serious opera or nightlife in Breckenridge. Anytime you got a shot ski that's like a half a mile long to start the season off, that sort of gives you an idea of what goes on there.
This drinking town has a ski problem.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
What's the hottest place in town right now for opera?
Oh man. Well, actually, if you're going to be operating properly when you're still wearing your ski gear, the T-bar right at the base of Peak 8 is a pretty great spot. You can watch some skiers, hang out by the fireplace if you want to, and they get DJs and stuff going in there too. Go ahead.
That's the place I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But when you get to town, Fatty's is a good place. The Gold Pan's a great place. That's at the north end of town. Then at the south end of town,
that's where you start seeing the more clubbing style bars down at the south side, like Cecilia's.
The younger hip crowd.
Yeah, that's right.
See, the north end's got the old boosters. The south end's got the young hipsters.
And there is a new bar that just opened right at the base of the gondola called the Shifty Lifty, and they seem they make great sandwiches, and they seem pretty excited about getting people in there and drinking. They're always doing.
It's going to be an apres bar for sure.
So the Shifty Lifty, that'll be a good one, and it's right off the bottom of the gondola, so it's easy to get to.
Uh, that yeah, that makes it totally dangerous.
Oh yeah.
And it's one block from the glide shop where you can drop your skis off and then go get liquored up.
I want to hear from each of you what your favorite day is. The best day you've ever had on that mountain where you could recreate it.
Well, my best day ever. It will be tough to recreate. It was my birthday one year, end of March, and I-70 did close down for a couple of days, and it just kept snowing and kept snowing. So over these 2 or 3 days, it snowed 2 or 3 feet, and we just kept getting free refills while everyone else was stuck up in Denver. Those are the best days. If we can keep it snowing and keep the lines low, those are the best days for me. In terms of a day where I-70 is open, ideally you get those morning laps, get warmed up, and try to get the T-bar right at the right time, and then start spreading it out from there. Go try to find the fresh before everyone else does.
Get burnt out, and then you can slow it down a bit when the lifts start getting jammed up.
Yes,
Go home and have brunch, you know?
Yeah, you can do that.
So one of my favorite days, which we recreate every year, is we have Christmas here in my house, and the kids and my wife and I, and we have open gifts, have a great breakfast, and the whole family goes up skiing together. And we meet up with my wife's family and some friends up at the top of the hill. That is really good. Now, that being said, as being that type of the best day, the other type of the best day is when it's nuking out. Like you said, people can't get up here. You can't see shit. You get vertigo like crazy, but you know where to go. You know, riding the T-bar Imperial, those are my best days. And maybe you'll run into somebody you know, and you just hunker down and, you know.
Yeah.
Those are the best days.
What skis do you guys ski on these days?
I ski on a ski called the Surface Raider. Surface is the brand. Raider is the specific model that I prefer. It's got a 110 waist. It carves pretty well, so when I am down low on the mountain, I can still handle the groomers pretty well, but it handles chop well, and it handles powder just as well, too.
But it's also the skier.
Yeah, you got to know.
Skier's got something to do with it. You know that.
He's okay.
But yeah, I like a ski that's able to handle the chop because Breck does get busy. So if you want to ski fast, you got to be able to get through the turns, basically other people's tracks.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, he's sponsored by Surface. You know, he's a World Cup FIS judge.
Yeah.
For half pipe, slow style, and big air.
Really?
That's right. Yeah, my contest this year, we got a big air coming up in Steamboat at the beginning of next month. There's a half pipe in Copper Mountain immediately following that. I won't be working that one, but I'll be around. And then I got selected for X Games this year, which is pretty exciting. And then in March, I'll go to Teen France and St. Moritz, Switzerland, and do a week in each of those places for a contest.
Not a bad gig.
He's got to go out there, but he's also supposed to be working at the ski shop.
I was going to say, when he's gone, he dumps all his work right on you, right?
That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
No, well, I can't deny him, okay? Because that'll build resentment. We don't want that.
Rick, what skis are you on these days?
I've been pretty much a Solomon guy for a long time.
How big?
I ski on the blank, which is 112 under the foot.
So you guys are both on stuff that's over 100, over 110. Okay.
And I've got a pair of Peak skis that were made by Bodie Miller. Those skis, those are 104s.
Okay.
Come springtime, I'll use a different ski. It's called the Giver, also by Surface. That one's got a 100 waist, and that one does pretty well in the softer springtime conditions.
Yeah, probably a little snappier.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, get a little more grip in there and some of the junk that you ski on when it softens up.
Yeah, for sure. It's full camber, so that definitely helps. The Raider, my 110, that one's got quite a bit of rocker and stuff, so it's nice to be able to grab an edge when you need it most, right?
Hey, people that ski every day and grew up and live in the mountains, and Rick, you migrated there and never left. You have a passion for the sport in the mountains. You talk about that, you know, with people you end up skiing with your customers, all that. What do you say to them about just what you love about the mountains?
Well, for starters, the mountains, don't take it for granted. every day it's a different view. Every day it's beautiful. The terrain, getting up in the morning, getting those skis on your feet. And as soon as you get that glide going, it's like, yeah, that's why I'm here. You know, when you get that perfect carve turn or when you get that face shot, you want to keep going back. It's probably a little bit like golf. When you get that one good shot, you want to keep going back, right? If you get 3 or 4 good turns in a day, that's a pretty dang good day.
You know, yeah, I've had people come and tell, been on the show and they say, it's about that one run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got into one of those a little earlier about, I've been skiing for a long time. And I remember specific runs out of that I just go back to every time.
You bet. And embrace those because they don't happen all the time.
No, they don't. That's what you look for. Levi, what about you? How do you talk to people about what you love about skiing?
When you talk to like when we're in the shop, someone's picking up their skis, getting ready to go, get their skiing in. It's you don't need to tell anyone, oh, I love this so much. It's just when you talk to them, it becomes clear your excitement for the sport, if that makes sense.
And for them too, they're excited.
Right. I like when other people get excited about it, and then that's when my colors start to show about it a little bit.
Okay.
So I try to push that out of people the best I can.
And they don't mind talking about it once you get them going.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Pup's Glide Shop. You started that a long time ago. You both are working there.
I've been tuning skis since I was in high school. And when I moved to Breckenridge, I've been tuning skis. And I worked for a couple of different shops, running the repair department. And I had to quit this one store because it was just dangerous with partying going on. Okay. So anyways, I went to another Mountaineer shop that was a great shop, Mountain Outfitters. They're no longer there. But this shop became available for sale at a very fair price, and I jumped on it. And that was in 2004. And I've improved equipment. I've improved my employees. I got such a great staff. Everybody that's been there has been there for a number of years, and every one of them is a passionate skier. So they take their tunes to heart. So since 79, I've been tuning skis in Breckenridge, and since 2004, I've had this shop. And
how many skis do you tune? Do you think you tune a year?
Probably 4,000 or 5,000.
That's a big number.
And I know that by the amount of repair tickets I buy.
Well, now tell me where it is in town.
It's on Ski Hill Road, right off of Main Street.
Okay.
It's 107 Ski Hill Road, and it's a little purple building. It's a 2-car garage. And the 2-car garage used to be owned by Trygve Bjerge, who started the ski area with Sigurd Rockney. So he used to own that building. And I don't know, I'm sure you know who Trygve is, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw him last night at Fatty's.
Yeah, we both did. We took a photo.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
So he's getting old, but anyways, that's where my shop is. It's a purple building. It looks like a Dr. Seuss building. I put a big Grinch on the top with a chimney and stuff for Christmas and stuff. I leave it up there through January. It's very iconic. It's very noticeable.
It sounds like you guys have fun. Rick, Levi, I really want to thank you a lot for taking some time to talk to us about skiing and hanging out in Breckenridge. You might see these guys probably on Peak 6 by the sounds of it, anytime during the winter when they're not tuning. But if there's powder, all bets are off. There's no friends on a powder day.
Well, that is somewhat true, unless you got a really good buddy you can hang with, or that can hang with you.
If you like our podcasts, please share them and subscribe on our website, wheretoski.org. It's free. Stay connected to us to listen to perspectives on some of the world's best mountains from the legends that live there. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Levi.
Can you call us a legend?
Just you, man.
Thank you all for joining. Many thanks to our partners, Backcountry and Global Rescue, and thanks to the Grits for the music.
Gear up for untracked lines and deep days. Backcountry has your go-to ski and touring setup ready. From avalanche packs to fast skins, their gearhead experts tested all in the wild. Use code WHERETOSKI, all one word, at checkout for 15% off one full-price item. Some exclusions apply. Let's make every run count. That's Backcountry at backcountry.com.
We feel it, we feel it. So round and round we go. We feel it, she feel it, we feel it.